Hello to all my friends out there on the internet. This is Monday, the 10th of February, 2020. I'm Doc Eon. I'm here to ramble about miniatures. And you can just barely see everything I finished this past week in shot. It was not a hugely productive week, but you know, it was 8 minis. That's not nothing. Up front, we have the more important characters. We have the Skinsaw Man. We have, a bit glossy, but hey, you know, maybe there's, his coat is some sort of sparkly fabric. We have Nualia. I don't know if you can see her more clearly if I push away some of these guys. Yeah, the model is not a perfect rendition of the artwork. There's supposed to be some portions on her armor, like on the hips, that should stand out and be a different color. But oh well, it's close enough. Now for Aurelium, I think this Quasit, the artwork in the book was no help at all because it is all a very washed out pale gray over the whole character. It's just blue-gray, you know, white. And that was just boring, so I made up some colors. And a lot of D&D artwork Quasits are green, so I went with that. And I kept the color from the artwork is just on her tunic now, actually. That's if I had painted like the book, this color would have been the whole figure. Oh well. Anyway, it turned out okay. Then we have the 4 cultists. Now, I did not do the extreme freehand work that I've seen on one sort of company model of this. I just hinted a little bit at it. I just put in some stuff there to break up all the red. And yeah, I think I did enough. And then we have the Maggot Crown Juggernaut with the swapped head for a demon look instead of a skeleton or other undead. And don't know if you can tell, I have gone with a slight green tinge to the armor. I've given a very thin green glaze to contrast all the red of the skin. I don't know how well that comes across. It's perhaps a bit subliminal, but hopefully effective in any case. And yeah, this guy I'm fairly happy with. So I finished everything I set out to finish, actually. So yay me. Let's see how far I've gotten on new projects. Here on the work table we have a lot of heavy metal, it seems like. Not all of them are metal, only the discable minis are actually metal minis. There's the bones. You can tell that I decided not to go with putting these on extra bases. The width is actually 25 millimeters on these oval bases that are, you know, part of the casting. They're a little less deep, but whatever. I'll just go with it. So what's happened here is I've primed them, mostly in a dark gray, German gray, with a blast of a lighter color from above to make, for example, the faces not so dark. Then I've gone in and undercoated all of the armor and weapons with black, and then given them a base coat of a gunmetal color. I think it's what's it called? Yeah, lead belcher, actually. The only good silver paint Citadel makes. I've got a pots of lead belcher, iron breaker, and Runefang steel here, but those second two are almost useless. They're very thin, strangely enough, for Citadel paints, which are usually very thick, and they separate like mad. I find very little use for them. But anyway, it looks like these guys are almost done, right? Because there's so much of them that it actually is the armor and weapons. But, you know, it needs to be highlighted and shaded. The armor, I mean, and then there's a lot of other fiddly bits. They have big beards, these dwarves. And this dwarf as well. And other little details. And the guard have more clothing apart from the armor visible. But, you know, it's a good start. These are well on the way. Go me.
Now the ogres are not primed yet. They're at the stage just before priming. I've cleaned, assembled, based, and done a lot of stuff to them. There's some stuff here that needs to set and dry before I prime them. But these are big, hefty chunks of metal. They, I put them on. I made stamped like flagstones on their bases because in the scenario where these guys are supposed to be used, they've occupied, they've like taken a castle and installed themselves there. But I also thought there's some grit. I don't know if you can see it on the base, covering a little bit of the tiles, and this is let's see, this stuff. It's rough gray pumice, which is not. It doesn't cover the way that other of these acrylic pastes do. I mean, like this stuff, dark earth, which I use a lot. This provides a complete basing solution. The pumice just adds like a sprinkling of texture, and most of it dries and like goes away. So it's not something you can use just to cover an entire base. It's just for little patches. This hook thing was the only thing I pinned. This hook was separate. And in the picture on the website, Reaper, they've assembled it sideways, like sticking out to the side, which doesn't really work with the way his fist is holding it. You know, if he's going to use it as a weapon, the hook should be in the direction of his fingers. Anyway, most of the assembly here, the provided like holes and divots and pegs and whatever were sufficient. For this one, not. I had to shave it down and drill and stick a brass rod in there to make it work properly. I think, I'm not sure if I still have to do some gap filling here. There was, in this model, there was a exceptionally large gap between the head and the neck, and I've used some putty there, try to fill it in. Hopefully you can't really tell, but it looks okay. I'll maybe put it just a little bit more on there. Really ugly dudes. But what's this in the background, you wonder? Well, I assembled an extra thing. This is from the Bones 4 Kickstarter, the fan's favorite set. It's like, well, kind of portal, you could say, in translucent plastic. It's, I think, the last piece of scenery in this whole Kickstarter. I think I painted all the others. I had an issue where the base plate was curved a lot. It was curved the other way. It was like U-shaped. And so I used boiling water and cold water and tried to straighten it out. Now it's slightly curved in the other direction, but yeah, not so much that it bothers me. It's going to stand pretty flat. Now, what do I want to do with this? Well, honestly, really only this center part needs to be translucent. This is supposed to be some sort of mystical energy, but this ring around it is solid material, I think it's supposed to be, as are the lines and the flagstones it's standing on. So normally with a fully translucent model like a ghost or something, I will not prime it even, but With this, I think I'll have to try to mask off the central portion and then use my airbrush to prime around that, and possibly even lay down some base coats with the airbrush for efficiency's sake. Yeah. But that should work, hopefully. We will see next week.
So finally this week something arrives in the mail. What is it? It's a Kickstarter from Midland Miniatures. It's called the Hobgoblin Raiding Party. And this is supposed to be a hobgoblin. I don't know, it looks like an orc, half orc maybe? Sexy half orc. But ooh, this is 2 packages with 11 miniatures, 10 of them hobgoblins and 1 dog. And they sort of have the theme from, you know, the original AD&D illustrations with sort of vaguely Asian or at least Japanese type armor. A little bit of that going on. And you know what? I'm gonna start painting these right away. I'm gonna try to continue this idea of painting as much as I can as soon as it arrives. This is not gonna work every time something gets here in the mail, but when I can fit it into my schedule, I will. So I will prep all these and try to paint them next week. And I even think, because this is quite a lot of minis and I'm going to add some more, which I'll show you in a few seconds, I think I don't need a separate store painting project. I'll actually just, I'll start these and bring them to the painting evening on Monday, next Monday that is, and paint as much of them as I can get through then. And obviously it's not going to be finishing 11 minis in one evening, but you know, do a bit of work on them, bring them home, finish the rest at my leisure at home. But I do need to add some other projects. I think I need to keep grinding away at the bones. So from the Bones 4 Kickstarter and favorites set, I've picked out these 3. These 2 are in a lot of pieces. You can't see what they are. This guy is a 1 piece. I think they're called Toad Demons or something in the Reaper catalog. What they are is what in Dungeons & Dragons are known as Slaad, S-L-A-A-D, which are fiendish entities. I don't know, they're not technically demons per se. That has a very specific meaning in D&D. They are a certain species of fiendish entities. And yeah, I'll get started on those. I think for these all have integral bases, but they're very they're rather small and they're kind of irregular. I think I will have to put all of these on extra basis and fill out the space left over with some basing grit or something. We'll see what I come up with, if I can get creative perhaps on these. So that's 14 minis that I'm going to prep for next week. That's a relatively tall order because next week I'm back to work again. I mean, the week we're looking at right now, until Monday, I have a lot of free time, but you know, next week it's back to the daily grind again. But as I said, I think I can. The hobgoblins are like a unit, and they're very similar to each other. Maybe that will speed up the painting of them a bit. That's what I'm sort of relying on. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Click like if you did, subscribe, comment, share, and all that stuff. I'm going to have a terrific week off from work, getting a lot of, private stuff done. I hope you have a good week as well. I'll see you again, same day, same channel, next Monday. Till then, I'm signing off.